The WNBA's nightmare just came true. Caitlin Clark, the golden goose who carried the league on her back, is officially out for the rest of the 2025 season, playoffs included. What fans feared for months is now reality. The announcement didn't just end Clark's season. It sent shockwaves through every corner of the basketball world. Ticket sales plummeted, ratings crashed, sponsors started sweating, and fans flooded social media with refund demands and boycotts. But this isn't just the story of one player getting hurt. This is the story of a league that failed to protect its brightest star and is now watching the fallout consume everything it built.
Well, let's talk about the WNBA and the league's demise now that Caitlin Clark is no longer going to play this season. The WNBA and the Indiana Fever, Stephanie White, Amber Cox, all the way up and including, let's just keep it real, Kathy Engelbert, Adam Silver, the National Basketball Association, everybody that participated in the farce.
Clark's collapse didn't happen overnight. It was death by 1,000 cuts. In May, it started with a quad strain. By June, the whispers turned to groin problems. In July, a full tear. And by August, a bone bruise finished what months of relentless physical targeting had already set in motion. These weren't random injuries. They were the direct result of defenders treating her like a punching bag, shoving her off cuts, grabbing her jersey, setting moving screens, daring referees to blow the whistle. Most of the time, the refs just stood there. Fans watched it live, possession after possession. They didn't see a star being guarded. They saw her being hunted. And instead of protecting the face of the league, officials swallowed the whistle and let the abuse pile up until her body gave out. But the officiating failures were only half the story. The cover-up made everything worse.
The WNBA and all the people that follow the WNBA and try to promote the WNBA don't understand that Caitlin Clark's game resonates with us. I say this every day, and every day I got to deal with somebody else dumb in the media. Caitlin Clark's game resonates because she's got flair, she's got flash, she's got style. I said this before, and I'll say this again. We saw Sue Bird's game. We saw Diana Taurasi's game. Kim Mulkey was Sue Bird before Sue Bird became Sue Bird. We've seen it. We haven't seen Caitlin Clark.
Do you realize that in her rookie season, Caitlin Clark absorbed 20% of all flagrant fouls in the entire WNBA? One player, a fifth of the punishment. And the majority of it came from one team, the Chicago Sky, with Angel Reese leading the charge. These weren't tough basketball plays. They were cheap shots, followed by smirks and even laughter as Clark limped her way back up the court. In any workplace, that kind of harassment would lead to suspensions, even legal action. But in the WNBA, silence. No protection. No accountability. Just the league shrugging while their star attraction was beaten down in plain sight. And if you thought leadership was going to step in and fix it, think again.
Caitlin Clark, out for the remainder of the 2025 season, something we all think we knew was coming after what Stephanie White said earlier today. We couldn't be too sure until we see it for ourselves. And with this announcement from the GOAT's mouth herself, Caitlin Clark won't be returning this season, nor if the Indiana Fever make the playoffs.
When Commissioner Kathy Engelbert finally addressed Clark's season-ending injury, she had a rare chance to show leadership. She could have admitted the officiating failures, held players accountable, and promised to protect her league's investment going forward. Instead, what fans got was a corporate press release. Vague optimism, talk about growth, and zero acknowledgement of the real problem. It was hollow. It was tone-deaf. And fans weren't fooled. They saw a commissioner more interested in bragging about profits than protecting players. Engelbert became the symbol of a league that puts PR spin above player safety. And once fans felt that disconnect, the backlash grew even louder. But nothing speaks louder than money. And that's where the collapse started to show up immediately.
For the last 2 weeks, Stephanie White knew where this was going to end up. I would say for the last month or so, they kind of had a feeling where this was going to go. The main issue, Another day-to-day injury that turns into a season ender. Another day-to-day injury that turns into a season ender. And if you don't call that a lack of transparency, I don't know what to call that.
The numbers tell the story. Ticket resale prices for All-Star Weekend in Indiana went from over $200 to barely $60 overnight. That wasn't a slow decline, it was a free fall. Fans flooded resale sites, desperate to unload seats they had circled for months. What was supposed to be Caitlin Clark's grand homecoming showcase turned into a hollow shell of an event. It didn't stop there. Attendance dropped in every city she wasn't playing in. National broadcasts that had soared thanks to her presence nosedived. Sponsors who had bet big on the Clark effect suddenly found themselves tied to games that weren't delivering. Even Colin Cowherd, one of the biggest voices in sports media, admitted the truth. He said on his show, "I led my national broadcast with Caitlin Clark 6 times last year. This year, I didn't mention the WNBA once after she went down. That's the kind of economic crater the league is facing. Without Clark, the WNBA just isn't worth talking about for mainstream sports outlets. And yet, through all of this, fans could have forgiven the league. If not for one thing, betrayal."
I mean, it's a gut punch that basically encompasses an entire season of them. The Fever have lost so many players to injury, but obviously none bigger than Clark. And there was such a wait for this second season after her magnificent rookie season. And then, the anticipation of her possibly coming back, only for that not to happen, takes a lot of air out of the room, obviously takes a lot of energy out of the fans, and is a devastating blow for not just the Fever and the WNBA, but the good news is her career is not over.
The Fever and the league insisted Clark was day-to-day for months. Every injury update was framed as temporary. Every press release kept fans dangling on the hook with false hope. Tickets were sold under the assumption she'd be back soon. Game after game, fans showed up waiting for the miracle return. But behind the scenes, insiders already knew the truth. Clark wasn't coming back. She wasn't close to 100%. Her burst was gone, her cuts were labored, and she was grimacing through minutes she should never have played. Yet the team and league kept pushing her out there, because empty arenas meant empty pockets. When the truth finally came out, fans realized they'd been strung along for months. Refund requests poured in. Boycott campaigns trended across social media. And playoff games, which should have been a celebration, now faced the risk of empty seats. Fans weren't just disappointed. They felt cheated. And while the league was busy burning trust, Clark's teammates were left to fight uphill without her.
The folks that cover the NBA, these people that play in the NBA, these people that cover the NBA, I said these people, all of you, black, white, green, purple, why don't you understand a very simple thing? Her game is dynamic. Like Diana Taurasi was like a jackass to Caitlin Clark. Why? Her game is what people are drawn to. And then you go to the personality. Her game is different than any WNBA woman ever. And she wins, and she shoots from deep. It's no different than Steph Curry. How many times we got...
Credit where it's due. Some Fever players tried to carry the torch. Kelsey Mitchell went on a scoring spree, dropping 30-point nights that reminded everyone of her talent. Aaliyah Boston became the emotional anchor, grinding in the paint and trying to hold the team together. Lexi Hull kept hustling, and Sophie Cunningham brought her trademark toughness until her own season was cut short by injury. But let's be honest. Without Caitlin Clark, the Fever's ceiling isn't the same. Fans don't just want an underdog story. They want the superstar who changed the game. They want the player who made women's basketball appointment viewing. And until Clark returns in 2026, that gap simply won't be filled. Still, even in the middle of chaos, Clark herself had something to say. And her words hit hard.
We've got Colin Cowherd saying, "You know what? Guess what I didn't talk about on my show this year? The WNBA. Guess why? He just come out and said it yesterday. Because Caitlin Clark was not playing. That's why. He said, I led my show, my biggest, largest national sports radio show in the country. I led my show with Caitlin Clark 6 times last year." I mean, you don't lead a show with anybody unless they can draw.
When Clark finally addressed her season-ending injury, her statement was both heartbreaking and inspiring. She wrote, "I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season. I spent hours in the gym every day with the singular goal of getting back out there. Disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how I am feeling. I want to thank everyone who had my back through all the uncertainty. This has been incredibly frustrating, but even in the bad, there is good. The way fans continue to show up for me and the fever brought me so much joy and important perspective. I'm so proud of how this team has only gotten stronger through the adversity this year. Now, it's time to close out the season and claim our spot in the playoffs." Those words reminded fans why Clark isn't just a star. She's a once-in-a-generation leader. She's disappointed, she's hurting, but she's still focused on the bigger picture. But let's not sugarcoat it. Her season didn't collapse because of bad luck. It collapsed because the league failed her. Think about it. Referees refused to blow whistles. Coaches overplayed her despite obvious pain. The commissioner ignored it all while bragging about revenue. That's not an accident. That's negligence. Clark was the golden goose. She filled arenas in Dallas, Las Vegas, New York, and Chicago. She drove record TV contracts. She made sponsors line up to attach their names to the WNBA. And in return, the league let her get hacked, shoved, and battered until her body broke. Now the golden goose is gone. And with her, the league's momentum has evaporated. Ticket sales are down, ratings are down, fans are furious, and the credibility of the entire league is hanging by a thread. So here's the question every fan is asking. Should Commissioner Kathy Engelbert resign for failing to protect Caitlin Clark? Or is there still time for the WNBA to salvage what little trust it has left before fans walk away for good? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Are you done with the WNBA playoffs? Are you demanding accountability? Let's hear it. And if you're tired of the spin and just want the unfiltered truth about the league, smash that like button. Subscribe to The Caitlin Clark Show and turn on notifications so you never miss what's coming next. Because make no mistake, the drama isn't over. It's just getting started.